Welcome back to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What up?
We have some fun things to talk about today. First, though, I want to start with we learned something new right before the podcast.
That's right. A little energy drink.
Yeah, I was like, I think Reign's owned by Monster, and then you were like, maybe it's Pepsi. So we looked it up, and it is owned by Monster. And then when you said Pepsi, I was like, no, Bang was owned, I thought, by Pepsi, but they bought Celsius recently.
Yep.
And then we found out Bang filed bankruptcy back in October of 2023.
Yeah, they got sued by Monster, filed bankruptcy, and then Monster took them.
Yeah, Monster bought them. So I
That
think it was
was
probably
planned.
all part of the plan.
Coordinated. Well, they did make some wild claims, and that CEO guy, I mean, he was claiming the drink cured autism or something.
Yeah. I know some people that were models for Bang.
Yeah.
And like on their contract, one of the requirements is that you had to follow the CEO.
Okay, I can see that. I knew a couple of the girls that worked for them too.
It's just weird, right? I mean, just like you have to follow this person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Those pretty girls don't want to follow him in real life, so he's just gonna make them.
I know,
I guess.
right? What was it? What were they saying? Like super amino acid complex or something?
Yeah,
like that?
everything was super creatine.
Oh yeah, super creatine. That's
Super
what it was.
creatine that
Yeah.
could cure like all kinds of diseases.
Yeah, I think he made some claim, which I may be wrong on this, but I feel like he made some claim that like cured autism or something.
It was with autism, for sure.
Yeah.
Whatever, it would cure it, alleviate it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wild.
anyway.
And I think he had some kind of science background, so maybe the drugs just got him or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes folks go nuts.
If you haven't seen what he looks like, he is kind of a creepy looking old man.
Yep.
So, but anyway, I mean, I remember when Bang first came out because I was in the fitness scene, going into fitness expos, and Bang would rent out this huge
block.
area, and they would have like
Girls
stages
everywhere.
with girls
Yeah.
dancing, and they'd be like, wanna bang, and I was just like, and it was obnoxious. Like it was just like loud,
and it was twice the caffeine of anybody else. So
at that time,
great. Yeah.
Because now it's probably just
they're 300, I think,
Okay.
and then so these have all dropped down to 200 because they were all up there.
Rain, I think, is a 250.
Is it 250?
250 or 300.
Okay, we'll get
Check
it
that out.
somewhere. Here it is.
See what it is.
300.
Yeah, see,
Cool.
Rain still,
Representing,
yeah.
giving the people what they need.
Adam's like, I'll drink 3 of these today. So,
Yep.
I,
Maximum non-lethal dose.
yeah, someone asked me how much caffeine you drank, and I was like, probably like a gram a day.
Yeah, just a gram.
Just a gram. 1 gram. It's not that much.
It's a bump.
Speaking of bumps, the feds have now added dragnet searches of YouTube users' video watching to their investigation arsenal. And this is something I didn't know before the podcast, but there's things called a Google-centric warrant called a Geofence warrant, where the feds have been able to be like, Google, give us all the data on anyone in this area during a specific time. Which, did you know? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that at all. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it makes sense. I've heard of that where like cops can kick on your like Xbox camera and like catch drug dealers and whatever. And like,
Yeah.
it's like one of those where I think it's gonna more and more the stuff's gonna pass, but like, because I don't have anything to hide. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really care. But then like, I don't really want you knowing what I look up.
Yeah.
Or like what, I don't know, man. Yeah, well, like what is quickly accessible information? Like, oh, you know what? You were in this area. Let's read your emails real quick. Or like, do you get my transaction data? Like, what data do you get? Like, what is yours personally? That's I think the overwhelming.
Well, yeah, I never even thought about the fact of like, if you were on that list of people, even though you were completely innocent, now someone's like combing through your life.
Yeah, right. Like you got to worry about. Not worry. You don't even know, but like,
Right.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know.
It's not a worry that you're gonna find something shady because like I don't have anything shady going on, but it's just the fact of like it's the privacy.
Well, and with everything else, man, like with the digital stuff, like I don't know, like what is yours? Like I feel like it's a bigger thing for them to come collect your DNA.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's my hair, you can't have it.
Right.
Or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough, man. Plus, there's like out of context stuff. Like you can just happen to be in the area and like, I don't know, want to look up like how to survive in the off grid. And it doesn't mean you're like planning something crazy.
Right.
I don't know.
You could be watching a TV show and they talk about something.
Well, there was that story a couple years ago, and like, you know, it's so polar. News is so polar, anyways, these days. But like, the way they tell it, the FBI caught these terrorists, but the way it looks is that they like kind of convinced these kids to like get a lot pissier than they were, and then they were there to sell them the weapons, and then they were there to like help them, and then they're like, gotcha, you know?
Yeah.
And like, what'd you do? You like brainwashed
Hated them.
Yeah, you like completely, I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
Like you convinced them to be more into this thing, and then.
Are we on both microphones? I didn't check that. Do you have the right microphones on? Okay, sweet. Just want to make sure.
My sound sucked last time, I think.
Yeah, and the recording levels are good. Another thing too is they have keyword warrants, which means that, you know, you type in certain things, they can get warrants for anyone that's looked at those things. So
I guess it's like, but like how much data, you know, what's wild is, you know, they're doing YouTube, which that's like a Google company, which is like.
It's because they already got Google though.
I know, it's like everything I use, you know, like if Google was just like, here you go, here's this Gmail and like Google Authenticator for like passwords and stuff. Like, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know whether or not it should be like, I feel like I should get a notice.
Well, and
Google gave your information to the feds.
Didn't you tell me that Google was started at Stanford?
Well, so that's a fun story.
Yeah, so
Google,
talk about, you know, tinfoil hat, go ahead.
Yeah, tinfoil hat time, but Google started with some students at Stanford. You know, of course, there's a lot of, you know, stuff going on at that time, a lot of tech, a lot of big tech stuff, but like, DARPA effectively had their hand in, I'm going to miscategorize it, but providing the funding needed to build this algorithmic Boolean algebra-based search engine that would effectively group, you know, like people with like searches, which had a very commercial application, obviously, but also has a very data knowing.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's kind of wild. Google's been able to do things that like I feel like our grandparents would have like fought against.
Right, yeah.
Pictures of your house, 3D images of everything that you have.
Yeah, aerial views of your house.
Mapping of everything, them flying the planes with the lasers on the ground to do that. People are like, yeah, Google, woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's people now that actually do entire like drone sequences on Google Earth. They don't even have a drone.
Right.
There's the ability to, like, I've sent Eastman a couple because I think
crazy.
I was like, hey, next time we go on a travel vlog, you should do this. You know?
It's so neat, man.
But you can literally like set up these time lapse type things. It's
crazy.
crazy.
Then imagine that you put AI to it and you're like, hey, make this look real.
Well, I mean, it already looks
I know,
real,
but I'm saying like make it like come alive. If it's all
Hyper
birds
realistic.
fly in the scene.
Oh yeah, have people moving.
Whatever, man. Like it's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
That little the
change the time of day.
Yeah, the like weird little mouse video I saw the other day where like this mouse is just like running through a city and it looks hyper real, so you can kind of tell, but like the fact that it didn't take anybody any amount of time to make it, something just kind of made itself effectively, you know.
Well, I said
like it was amazing.
I think that AI is really going to change companies like Disney and Pixar because now they don't need all these.
Well, take it a step further though, man. How long before you just pop the Vision Pros on and you're just like, make me a Batman movie?
Oh dang.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Take all the shit I like about Batman and make it a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Show me a superhero movie with like
that I like,
these two.
Because you know what I like already.
Yeah.
Like you know what I like on YouTube. You see what I watch. You're watching me.
Oh man,
it's crazy, dude.
Well,
like,
it's just be, you know, again, I know you've read it, Ready Player One. It reminds me of that. It reminds me of that Surrogates movie or whatever with Bruce Willis, where the people like had a robot that went out in public for them, and they just lived in these chairs like sloths.
But I don't. That one they always kind of have that weird. But I don't feel like we're building that. I don't feel like we're building like virtual Sims. Like we were building virtual reality for a minute, and I feel like that's like not moving at the same pace. Maybe I'm wrong. But like the augmented reality is nuts because I really don't know what it's going to do to people. I don't think we have the brain for it. And I think you can just put yourself in an immediate echo chamber. It's way more comfortable to be comfortable than uncomfortable. And so like, just make the world fucking
exactly
you
what
know,
you want.
yeah, like, and it knows.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, because like at some point maybe we have that utopia where like things can get out there and do all that stuff for us. But in the short term, at least with kids, I know we talked about that on the last show, but like, little Johnny, we ain't there yet, dog. You got to go to work today or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there comes a point where if I don't know, I think I see it two ways. One, if you could be super poor actually, but live in a virtual world where you were just insanely wealthy and do whatever you wanted to do,
which is probably gonna happen to all of us anyways,
right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, the value that certain things hold are based on their attainability.
Mm-hmm.
So if everyone can drive a Ferrari or a Bugatti or whatever in this virtual world, then it doesn't matter. You don't like. Then it's not a big deal that you have that. In fact, it'll probably be. People will probably think like beaters will be like funny cars to have because like it's fake, you know?
Right.
And then like, what's the point in having some mansion if everyone can have a mansion, you know?
I don't know.
You know, so
it's a weird thing that we're headed down. There's like, I don't know. But the second people can like, I mean, look at the amount of like drugs, alcohol and everything else, and even social media and video games and all kinds of stuff where, you know, there's casual users of everything, and then there's just like the
addicts.
The full on, man. They go all the way in, and like, you know, plenty of people have been able to make like a living on video games, so I guess you could say that that's fine. But, you know, sitting in a dark room with like 12 hours a day with just the blue light beaming in your face and shit, like.
Yeah, so some people have been able to make a living. I think that
very few, but
right. But on the time of that too, though, it's like you're not going to be a professional streamer at like 40 or 50.
No.
So
you got to resonate with kids. And
so you got to. So unless you bankroll enough that you just retire, you're gonna have to go find another job afterwards.
Yep.
So you know it's
well, it's wild, but I guess my point is that like people are just looking for anything to like escape. But like I don't understand why. I don't fully know, but
I think that people.
I guess when you go and you don't really live a fulfilled life, if you don't really do anything, if you just work just for money because you just need it because people, you know, told you get a job and live like this and do this thing, and then
I could get into religious reasons too. Like Christianity is like on the decline as far as the amount of people, and it's like I think that a lot of people, like you said, don't feel like their life has a purpose and stuff, and I feel like they're missing out on that key aspect of it. But
well, yeah, and I mean. You're not chasing anything in virtual world. I mean, like, unless it's like.
Well, and I think social media has allowed you to instantly compare. Like, when you were in high school and you wanted to find out about your buddy's spring break, you had to go ask him, right? And talk to him about it. And then he would just describe it to you. And he could be like, yeah, I went on a cruise and it was like this. But then when you start seeing videos of like, they stayed in that cruise room. Yeah. Oh, dang, they did that. I think that a lot of times people want to numb themselves because they feel inadequate.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that. There's definitely a level of one-upmanship in the generalized social media space, but I just mean like the folks that want to like check out or whatever. Yeah. You know, you're just like, okay. But like, I don't know. I mean, so when we have the ability to just like or just like flip the switch and just like, I can see it. Like Liam's games, you know, luckily, man, my attention span, I want to move around, but he's got like some of the VR games. Some of those are pretty fun. Yeah. You add a like feeling component or something to it, like falling, like that'd be cool. I could see like, you know, video games weren't that fun when we were little. They're a lot more fun now, even to a non-video game guy. They're a lot more fun. You can do more. There's plenty to, you know.
And the graphics are so much better.
Yeah. And so I feel like what we're talking about is like 1,000 or more X a video game. You know, it's like your life. I feel like.
Yeah, they've already started that.
Meta didn't really take off, but
Meta did. I think they're pushing it now into the commercial space more, and they're using it for like conference rooming and like that. So
remote workers, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So
remote workers
know they're working. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, so they're using it too, like conference rooms. Like everyone conferences into the room, and then your avatar. You have to. You could tell if it's paying attention
but
or
like
not.
Meta too. Yeah, Meta kind of though. You could kind of look at that like maybe like the Palm Pilot. It's coming, dude. Yeah, it's just gonna come in as an iPod or as an an iPhone. It's gonna be way better, way whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the world. You know, Google dropped the glasses a long time ago,
Oh yeah, the Google Glass.
and people just like
yeah.
weren't ready for that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
People
They
just
were
like-
way above their.
Yeah, they were like, no, we're not ready for that.
Yeah.
And so, the Vision Pros, I feel like that was more of a marketing gimmick. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe just they haven't caught on huge around here. You look kind of like a goofball just fucking wearing those ski goggles around.
I mean, I've seen people now like working on planes with them because
Yeah.
it's super nice. So you just like,
I could see the commercial application for
Yeah.
stuff like that, especially like tech redundancy, anything like working on a plane. So you got it like videoed
yeah,
or whatever. That's super cool. Just big old goofy goggles.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Like even on a plane, sitting there by yourself,
Well, I mean,
you
I
look
think
like you got ski goggles.
The only way to fix that would be like literal contact lenses or something.
Yeah, Neuralink. But
That's true.
The I just saw, and I can't think of what it is. I just saw in a YouTube video today, but excuse me, a brand of glasses that look like they kind of look like Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm guessing there's still some side peripheral stuff. He had some like clip-on things that like made it better. And it had the wire coming out of it like the Pros. You didn't look as dumb. You didn't look as noticeable. People would probably just be like, why you have sunglasses on inside?
Right.
The cool thing about both of those is that, like, if you were to go to talk to me, even when you have the, like, the AirPods in, like, everything mutes. If I look over towards you, everything, like, shrinks out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, that's so neat.
Yeah. I thought it was just crazy that it could tell where my eyes were looking with such accuracy.
I mean, what's the long term? I mean, like, people's eyes, I feel like, are getting worse.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, they're just
Yeah.
beaming at your eyeballs.
I feel like we talked about this on the submarine.
Yep.
Remember I was telling you they would tell you like focus on something as far away as possible.
Yeah, we did. Manthropology.
Yeah.
It's a cool short little book. If you guys want to check it out, it's called Manthropology. But they talk about our ability to like see far away is getting worse and worse. Yeah. And like I think you even said like your father-in-law and stuff can like spot elk or whatever they're hunting up there. We don't look for stuff very far away. Everything we look at, it's like right here.
Right
and so
us,
like we don't need to. It's like, whoa, is that a tiger?
Yeah, people forget that your eyes are like a muscle, and that's why like when you're younger and someone turns on the lights and it's pitch black, your eyes will acclimate way quicker. They're younger muscles, but as you get older, that's why it takes so much longer for people to adjust to like brightness and things like that. So,
and it's not really one you can like really work out that well. You can do some like eye close and back and stuff, but it's a pain. It'd be like physical therapy for your toe. It's like nobody's gonna do it.
Yeah, it's like no one wants to sit for however long and stare at something as far away as possible and as close as possible. But speaking of staring at things,
oh man,
solar eclipse
coming up on the 8th.
It's literally when this podcast goes live, the solar eclipse will be happening that day. So Eastman, you have to get up before then so people can watch it. The solar eclipse here is going to happen at around 1 p.m. So
cool.
I know. I have it like on my calendar.
It's dark, right?
The day before my birthday.
Like a little bit, right?
Like 2 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. We're not in the 100%. Right. We're in like the 70% area. But like there's some people that are going to get like legitimate pitch black for 3 hours. Yep.
So NASA decides, what NASA decide?
They're going to fire 3 rockets into the solar eclipse. And it's weird. I didn't know if they were going to try to fire them into the sun or whatever, but they're really just trying to measure what's called like the ionosphere or something like that.
The ionosphere.
The between Earth's upper and lower atmosphere called the ionosphere, which extends 55 to 310 miles above the planet's surface. Really, they're saying that like as the sun gets blocked by the moon, it's because it's such a rapid, sudden change, normally when the sun sets, it's like a slow setting. So there's such a rapid change that it's going to create like wakes and stuff. And they're trying to measure that to see what happens. They also said that like some animals will, like nocturnal animals will like get up and like, be like, oh, it's nighttime.
Yeah, I can see that. What about, are they firing up, is CERN firing up too? To catch all the neutrinos blowing off this thing?
Oh, I didn't look.
Yeah, we need to look that up too. Y'all look it up yourselves, but comment below if they're firing it up. No, I think Eastman's going to look it up for us. But so we got a lunar eclipse coming, a solar eclipse coming. The Earth, the daylight is going to go into darkness. NASA is going to fire rockets at the darkness. And CERN is getting ready to fire up their thing to test the neutrinos for the invisible matter. Yeah, this is how the book of Eli started. in case it's not, but it basically might as well be dream sequence. Remember that time the earth was about to go turn daylight into darkness on its own? And
Yeah.
That's where the demons come from, dude. That little circular hell pit down there.
That's wild. I didn't realize. So they are firing it up specifically to measure, the solar eclipse.
Yeah,
stuff.
measure. Sure they are. What else they measuring?
Who knows?
That's the eclipse schedule. But yeah, so anyways, they discovered when they fired this thing up in 2012, they discovered, effectively, I guess we knew about neutrinos, but what is it? Cosmic energy?
Of the neutrinos?
Well, basically cosmic energy being like this additional like
power
source,
matter, whatever.
whatever that is, right? I'm losing my glossary terms here, but yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like the trifecta.
I don't know that much about like the CERN stuff. I know that
colliding atoms.
They collide atoms to split things into smaller particles than we've ever been able to see before.
Collect or detect the presence of antimatter.
All right, not to sound like a bunch of haters, but fast food, California minimum wage, went up to $20 April 1st. And we've talked about it on the podcast, so I just wanted to talk about it now since we've seen it's in effect. But there have been thousands of layoffs due to that.
Hey, man, you mess with the free market too much. This is what the free market does. I mean, like, unfortunately, fast food customers are value shoppers. Value shoppers need those value prices. And when the labor wage is the large... Look, food costs are up. I know this. Food costs are up. Paper costs are up. Everything's up. Rent's up. It's up for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's up for the business owner. It's up for the individual business, of course. The having to stomach 10-12% increases in food and paper costs on on those types of food items. On top of that, not just an increase in expected wages, but like a decrease in expected output from those same people.
Right.
Like I knew people like when I was younger and had this and that in jobs, man, like it was waning, right? There were folks who were like bored sitting around, just work circles around everybody. And it was more like, just get out of my way. Don't really care. But those people, I guess, are all working for themselves now. I don't know. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not applying for jobs.
Yeah, so. My major issue with raising minimum wage like repeatedly, the way that they're doing it, is you move the floor up, but you don't move the ceiling up. Oh. Like all of a sudden, the manager isn't going to make more money just because the minimum wage went up. So now all you've done is shrunk the delta between your manager and like low.
Why should I?
And so why does someone want for $2 an hour? I don't want to be a manager. I don't want people to call me. I don't want to do that.
I don't want problems. I want to leave at 3.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, I want to walk out when I walk out, and I don't want to care about who's not
exactly
on
right.
shift.
And and so that leads to automation and machines and stuff taking jobs. But man, yeah. Furthermore, I think it's twofold. One, I think it's folks seeing the Gen Z maybe the one, I guess, because we're millennials, but barely on the cusp there. Growing up, getting the jobs, going to college, getting all the zapped into debt and all these other things, and millennials too. But I think enough millennials maybe have seen it and going like, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah.
And either starting their own thing. Of course, there's a lot of people with crazy expectations of what they're going to be able to do with their lives with their current skill sets without developing any skills.
And there's a lot of people with crazy credit card debt. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, So I think it's twofold, but then I think it's also not just seeing that, like, that life that, your parents, your grandparents, everybody told you was going to get you your dream.
Yeah.
Not getting you anything. I think it's a failure across the board on, like, our school systems and everything else because we have adults who I have to teach how to do everything.
Adult stuff. Yeah.
I mean, adults. And like, I was used to this for a while is, doing the US on stuff. Okay. I'm dealing with a lot of ex-convicts. Just, it's hot work. It's low pay. We're in the South. It's very hot in the summertime. But I hire anybody that show up to work with a good attitude and motivated and ready to learn. So maybe it made more sense to me that I had to help these guys with like tax documents and stuff because maybe they were locked up. They didn't have to do it. But then, going over to like the fast food side and stuff, a lot of these people were 40s, 50. No real trouble. No, maybe a little this and that. But I'm like, how do you not know how to fill these forms? How do you not know how to do, like, you don't understand this lease?
Yeah.
This is like a 1-page lease.
I have friends that have never filed taxes. And I get it. Like, I don't want to file taxes either.
That
but
must
like,
be nice.
but if you're like, I'm more scared of the IRS than I am the FBI or CIA or anyone else.
It's like IRS and cartel are like right there.
Yeah.
And then everybody else. Because I feel like everybody else play by the rules. I feel like they do whatever they want.
Yeah. So, but no, I have friends that legitimately, one of them is filing taxes for the last 3 years right now.
Okay. Fun.
But just,
I don't know. I feel like other people get away with shit that I just wouldn't. So I can't do it.
But speaking of taxes, how much taxes do you have to pay on $5 million?
Half. Well, no, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends on how they let you take the money in.
But so Mr. Beast is starting a game show on Prime Video, which they're thinking could essentially one-up Squid Games on Netflix, with the largest reward ever, the biggest single prize in the history of television and streaming.
Man, that kid is the most recognizable face to kids.
Yeah.
I mean, Liam's age, they know everybody that's on his show's name.
Yeah.
Which I don't know any of them. I know him. But, I mean, that down to, like, the camera guy or whatever. So, that reach is so powerful because it's like future Mr. Rogers being able to, like, or maybe something more relevant to our time. But you're just going to be like, oh, you, guy I like and trust.
Yeah.
Sell me whatever.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, you just see how
20 years from now, because it's just embedded into their like.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to think of someone that we like grew up and kind of like watched like grow to fame, but I can't even think of anyone.
It's hard because like that kid was like doing stuff at like 12 or whatever. Vine.
Well, and on top of that, like the people I can think of are like maybe movie stars that have just gotten bigger and bigger roles, but like
you don't have a real connection.
But the truth is, Mr. Beast transcends that. Oh, I mean, he literally is
internationally. I mean, like I bet because I don't even know how many languages they redo his content into. But I mean, it's not just like and Spanish. It's like Russian, Portuguese, like all kinds of languages.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the, Brazilian or Russian or whatever Liam's of the world loving him just as much down there.
Yeah, I would. The only person I really think that I can equate him to, which it's not apples to apples, but would be like The Rock.
The Rock. Okay, yeah, cool. I was kind of thinking The Rock.
Kind of like started something and kind of grew everything their own. The Rock is the only one I can think of, but the truth is I truly believe that Mr. Beast is bigger than The Rock.
Oh, he's 100% bigger than The Rock. Absolutely. Guaranteed. I know that that's crazy, and maybe to folks our age and up, it's crazy.
Monetarily, he might not be more money than The Rock just because The Rock has so many businesses. However,
he's got to be close though.
Well, he's going to be getting closer as the people that his group is Liam's age and stuff like that. You have to go buy Prime for Liam.
Right.
But imagine in 10 years from now, or not Prime because that's KSI and Logan Paul, but but Feastables, whatever it is, that the kids are going to have money and they're going to be the purchasers at that.
And they're going to buy it for their kids.
Right.
Or whatever they tell them.
And I think that is where you're really going to see his growth. I think in 5 to 10 years from now, you're going to really see him take off.
He has a double-digit billion-dollar brand currently with that net, that reach, that whatever. If Prime Video is
last year I think he was trying to get his brands to be worth $1 billion last year.
Yeah, I think it's higher.
No.
I just do.
Well, I mean, this right here is.
I think, and again, I'm sure he's got plenty of people on his team, but I think the right angle with the right pitch of the longevity of his freaking name and face.
Yeah.
Like just Mr. Beast, that cat with the lightning bolt, whatever, sunglasses, like that's just so recognizable to kids. Yeah.
Well, another thing too to think about is going on to Prime Video, you're now going to be reaching a market of people that were not YouTube watchers. Right.
Kids that weren't allowed to also that don't get to watch YouTube.
And then, of course, with this single largest prize in the history of television and streaming, like people are going to want to watch it to see who's going to win that much. Sure. So I really think that this has a chance to literally double him.
Can you imagine that? Like his videos cost like, if you wanted to advertise and be the sponsor of the video, it costs more than that, more than $5 million.
Yeah, it's like Super Bowl prices.
It is,
because he said I get the same viewers as Super Bowl.
More views. That's why he started Feastables.
Yeah,
he's had a hard time getting this. Literally, he started that whole chocolate and snack company because he wasn't getting the revenue that he should. Because I'm sorry, that's your whole marketing budget for the year.
Yeah,
and then some. Like that's what I charge. That's cool, man. That's great. And like, you hear plenty of bad things about people, but you really don't ever hear much bad ever about him. So like, that's great. I like that about people.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything negative about him either. So that's another surprising thing. Normally when someone gets that big
and that young too.
Yeah, I think that it's probably twofold. One, people trying to set them up for failure, and then two, people are just hyper vigilant about them doing anything.
Well, they are, but it's also, man, like he was young. He's probably started making money young, like real money. And like
12 to 14.
Yeah, like so when you get that around, everybody around you just wants it, and so they'll let you do whatever, they'll let you say whatever, and I feel like you get, this way you see a lot of kid stars like go crazy or go nuts or whatever because they didn't grow up in the real world.
Yeah,
they didn't. But it seems like he's got some shit figured out, so good for him, man.
Yeah,
very happy.
I guess since we're coming up on probably where we're gonna have to end the podcast soon, but I wanted to talk about just kind of like what's going on with Fat and Weird, because I know Max, if you're watching this, I know it's your favorite part to hear business and updates and things like that. I guess I'll give it like an update to last time we filmed. I didn't have the DO.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I got a development order on a piece of property. A lot of people have asked me recently. I don't know why it's so recently, but people ask me about our Airbnbs and do we still have them and stuff like that. So long story short, bought the Airbnbs in January of 2022.
Yep. No, 21. Right.
22.
Oh wow. You didn't have them long at all.
No, I had them for like 8 months.
Yep.
Yeah, we bought them we bought one in January and one in March.
Yeah, that's right.
And we renovated, flipped them, put some elbow grease into it, some sweat equity, and we were able to sell them for like $200,000 more than we paid for each, so like $400,000. And my friend Tyler had found this property that he originally was going to buy to build his home on it, but they wanted like $500,000 for it, and another developer had approached him and offered him more money. So when we came to buy the land, because we were like, this would be perfect to put townhomes on, it was $600,000. So we bought this land for $600,000. Yep. So we each put about $100,000 of our own money down, and then kind of rolled over the profits from the Airbnbs into that. And we've been working for the last, we closed on it in August of 2022. So, it's been what, 8? So 20 months. Yeah. 20 months, had to get the property rezoned, had to get the wetlands mitigated, had to do designs. And while doing this, the city changed the rules on flood zones, and we had to go through all that stuff. But long story short, Thursday we got the development order. We have a contract already to purchase the property. I don't really. You can look this information up, so I'm not really gonna you can go Bay County property appraisers and look it up. But we buy for $600,000. I think we're going to have about $100,000 into it, and we're going to sell it for $1.3 million. Yay. So, really happy about that, because obviously, I'd like to bring it in for Fat and Weird, some of it.
Yeah.
We're going to build out Adam has a warehouse, we'll build out a podcast studio.
Yep.
With some of that money, we're going to upgrade some of this camera equipment. You guys don't necessarily know, but Eastman literally has to stop some of these camera recordings and start recording again and mix it together. So it's a little bit of a headache on that end. And then starting the Montana home with that money, and then the rest is probably just going to Fat and Weird, because we about to blow up. Yeah,
we are, man. Well, the distribution side of things, it went from, just quick math on whatever, went from a volume of order with Unify went to from 2, right, to 4. Now it's 6 locations. Yeah, and so each location is getting 5 pallets. So it went from 10 to whatever to now it's 30 pallets. And 30 pallets of a product that we still don't have equipment to make yet. But we got the order volume, which is nice. So it's actually nice getting ahead of it. I'm used to more working this way a little bit. You kind of are more ready. You have all the equipment in place. So we are scrambling, but we've got some phone calls to make. We've got some options, and we've got time, but not a lot of time. So.
Yeah, and so a lot of what's kept us from buying equipment to do this stuff is we're waiting on the Myers payment, which I just got word that it is going to be cut to us on Thursday, so we should see it. And it's only 60%, and then the other 40% is going to come April 18th. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I didn't.
April 18th, which I was like, you know what? At least I'm getting another 2%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so
because there's a late fee for that 2%, which a lot of people think 2%. That's not much money. Well, when you're talking about like $300,000, 2%.
The kind of money we're playing with, it is
six grand.
Yeah, it is.
So it's a hefty late fee, if you will. And then also, like, I know it was supposed to go live in Myers locations, our cookies, yesterday.
Right.
But now I'm being told that it's not because there are the freezer section, this area we're going in, there's a product that they can't get rid of. So they're literally just been marking it down, trying to get rid of it. And then once that's gone, we get to roll out. Yeah. So,
we kind of knew there'd be a rollout time, but I guess maybe we needed.
We didn't think it would be this long.
No, it didn't.
So, I mean, it's been like almost 60 days since.
Yeah, because that's going to be we're going to get that rollout plan from everybody, because otherwise we're going to eat that every time. They're going to slow pay.
Yeah, slow.
They're just going to slow pay because they're going to be like, oh, we haven't put it in our stores yet.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we had a really great meeting with Cinemark.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And so they're really excited about working with us on the cookie dough bites. So that's a really fun thing. I don't know what that's going to entail, but I just think it's going to be really cool.
It's going to be nuts, man. Yeah, the bites and everything are going to take off. They're going to go gangbusters. They're going to be easy. Convenience products, airports, gas stations, movie theaters, just places like that.
Yeah.
Pop them.
Yeah, travel, quick snacks.
Love it. Easy.
Did you talk to Christian all about Dave?
No.
So, he met with Dave today.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, Dave is someone that we're potentially bringing on as a convenience store sales rep specifically. Like, Christian can stay in the grocery store lane, the distribution lane, and then this is great for convenience stores. And we met with him, and I'll tell you the terms later, but they're great.
Perfect.
So, we are definitely
Dave.
We're definitely going to do it.
All right, sweet.
But he's ready to blow and go too. So we've got to get this.
We got to get our equipment situated. All right, perfect.
Yeah. So Anyways,
fun.
Yeah, we're working through that. So, but yeah, that's kind of like a little bit of an update on Fat and Weird and everything going on. Can you think of anything else that we haven't talked about?
Not really. We got the team in town, so some of them. So we got a lot of remote folks. I think we talked to y'all about that. We got a couple of them in town, so that's cool. We're gonna go out, get to go out to eat and everything.
They're going out tonight. Christian, the sales rep, he's been on this podcast before. I mean, shoot, when was that episode? Like
2 or something? No,
early.
It was early.
It was like 8 or 9.
Yeah,
it was the first 10 episodes. I feel like he was on the show because he had just found out with like a couple of weeks before that his wife was pregnant. Yep. And so now the baby's due in like the next 30 days or so.
No, we got to get him to come on after he has the baby.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Well, I know he's stressing.
Yeah,
he is super stressing. I think it's it's a difficult thing because it's a hard thing to give advice for because it's different for every person.
Right.
There are some general things that are the same, but it's all different. I mean, you may have a baby that literally from day one sleeps through the night, or not really because they got to wake up to eat, but sleeps better.
Yeah. Everybody's going to have their own unique experience. The biggest thing that y'all can do, though, is work with your spouse.
Yeah.
Because, y'all are both going to be stressed out in, bitching at each other, fighting with each other. Just if you can, to the best of your abilities. And also, have some kind of sleep schedule. Kirsty and I did it a way that worked well for us. You'll find one, but, it was easier for me to be sweet when she was tired because I was not also tired. If I was also tired, it's like, I didn't sleep either.
Right.
Watch your mouth. But I was like, okay, baby, go lay down, do whatever. Whatever, right? Y'all got your own things, but the biggest, I think the baby isn't stressing you out. It's like you're the rest of your life,
right?
Like the baby.
Well, yeah, you're adding in something that needs you pretty much constantly while trying to still live your life. Right. So I'll tell you, I started cooking a lot more of the meals.
Yep.
I started cleaning a lot more. Not that I didn't before, but instead of it being like 50-50, if you will, I started taking over abundance of this stuff. And I felt like the best way that I could support Aubrey was to just be a good spouse and try to meet her needs before she voiced them,
Yeah. I would just wake up early as hell and take the kids as the, for like the morning
Yeah.
thing. And then I would go, we had the gym at the time still while they were all babies. And so I would go coach the 5:30 a.m. class. And then I would come back and take whichever one again, so Kirsty could like sleep in for a while. And that worked out well for us. But we had a lifestyle that she didn't have to like get up and run to a job or she worked, but like, with us within our organization.
Yeah. And that's kind of similar to what I did with Aubrey. Like she did a lot of the nighttime wake ups because, long story short, I mean, I guess people don't need to know this, but like when she was pumping, she didn't produce a lot of milk. So there wasn't anything for me to feed. Yeah. Right. So she needed a boob. And so she did most of the nighttime wake up stuff. And then I would take Scarlett in the morning so that she would have a good 2 hours to kind of like sleep in, nap. I don't know. It's hard though. At the end of the day, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. If you think it's going to be easy, then you're wrong. But I also think that some people make it out to be way worse than it is. So
yeah, but that's what we talked about that too. People just won't whine about shit. God won't give you more than you can handle, and like it's a baby. Walk away for a few seconds. Don't freak out. Just be all right. Take a deep breath. It's not the baby again that's stressing you out. It's your life. It's your I'm falling behind. I'm da 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 da. So really, the biggest thing is like I don't want to give any like women advice. Y'all get it from your mothers or whatever, but like guys, don't think you're gonna have the same exact lifestyle that you had for a period. It's a season, but like, yeah, shit's gonna be different. And like on the women's side too, like I think women, because of modern stuff, think they need to somehow like be this like woman they were before they had a baby, which whatever that served was fine. But now you have this child that needs you, right? It doesn't want you. It's not a dog. It needs you. And like, so the tearing, I feel like that women maybe face more than guys face.
Yeah.
God has to be hard for them. I see it with my wife. Sometimes she feels like lower in some kind of value because like she doesn't go out there and do something, but it's like, yeah, I see it. I get it. I feel like that's a total modern thing because she's got 3 kids at home that like,
she's taking
care
of
you.
Well, yeah, and she's schooling them, she's doing everything.
So you got the world that's like, oh, cool, and then you got like it's family that's like.
It's because society has put value on certain things, and so that women then feel like if they're not working and making money while also simultaneously watching their children, and so I mean, I couldn't imagine. I think that women definitely have a lot more pressure when it comes to children to excel at still being this strong, independent woman while also being like a great.
Yeah, society's weird, isn't it? Right? Like, be a strong, masculine, tough man, but feminine and in touch with your feelings and talk about your feelings all the time, but really not at all. Don't have feelings, but have them, and then like if you don't make if you don't have 10 rental houses before you're 30, sorry, we've made that joke all the time. But like, you gotta like, fuck, man, you get on social media and like, if you don't have like 10 billion, whatever number it is, sitting in the bank and like all the things.
Oh, yeah.
You just feel like, gosh, I do it all the time. I do it to myself and it's fairly constructive because I can take it and I go like, I need to go get after it. I used to go to fancy areas and look at the fancy cars and go like, I need to work harder.
Right.
But I think some people think that $1 million a year is attainable for everyone. And it's just, you have to be able to either have a certain set of skills, but really the main skill is to be able to see shit no one else sees.
Yeah.
Sixth Sense style. Like you go, there is a market need. It's big enough to make a whole bunch of money, and somehow nobody's found it,
Right. I think that, making $1 million a year is just as unattainable or similar like as me or anyone thinking they can go into NFL or NBA or like any professional sport.
Well, I mean,
because there's this skill that you're like born with. There's obviously training to get better at certain things, but you have to have like this base level to even be at that,
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's just, the amount of gross revenue that you'll have to take in to net that kind of money, even because if you're an employee doing that, you're going to have to like double that.
Right.
So I don't even know. I mean, maybe there were yacht salesmen or something that make that, but
private jet salesman.
maybe. But then like, I feel like then you're a bit, you're a business, you're a broker.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, but maybe not. But like, I don't know. Maybe 5%. of the population, 10% maybe can net that kind of money. And I mean, that's folks that just could and aren't still.
The top 1%.
It's like 400
just saw,
grand or whatever.
No, I'm just talking about for total net worth.
Oh, okay.
Is only 11 million.
Yeah.
Is the top 1%.
Okay.
You're in the top 1% if you have greater than $11 million in net
But
worth,
you're
which
a
is
top
like
earner. You're a top 1% earner at only like 400 grand a year.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Like,
it makes
that's
sense.
really good for Panama City, but that's not a lot of money.
Right.
Like, you can't, I mean, you can go through seasons of your life where you make whatever you make and you get through it, but like, you got to get ahead, and to get ahead, you need like a surplus to your living expenses. And like, you can only live so cheaply for so long. As you grow and your family grows and your salary grows, I don't know. People say like, oh, don't let your lifestyle increase. Well, creep's going to happen anyways. Inflation's going to happen. But like, yeah, you kind of, to like, some of the people you look at on social media to get, or whatever, to get there, you have to have some kind of boom in income, because you don't have $50,000 invested is not going to change.
What you do is you start by buying your first rental house at 20, and then every year you buy a new
rental house somehow and pay it off.
Yeah.
And by the time you're 30, you got 20 rental houses. And
But anyway, I mean, I think that there is probably some value in buying property. You buy properties too, and being like a landlord type situation. Great. But I think people, especially on social media, make it out to be something completely different than what it is.
Well, I feel like it's stressing people out, and they're going like, because the guy that we watched on there, Gino or whatever, he's like, I don't have any rental houses, or whatever. But, like, I think it stresses people out because like it's giving you a weird picture. First of all, if you go buy a single family home, if you can keep somebody in it all the time, that's great. You're probably going to cash flow like $50 a month. I mean, like, you're not going to make any money. And then you don't have a tenant, and then most people do not have the fortune. It's not even the skills. It's like, I mean, your tenant dies or moves out unexpectedly. Yeah, so it's tough. We definitely like real estate, obviously. But if you can hold that property, it's the appreciation that you ride
it's appreciation of the property.
Yeah,
right.
So.
And the fact that like you're buying something that's worth X amount of money, and hopefully you're getting someone else to pay for it for you. So that way in 30 years, you have this property worth this much money.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, that's what's going on. That's what we do on the commercial multifamily side of things is go in, get the property, force the appreciation by renovations, whatever looks right. Sometimes it's just raising the rent. And then you can pull a loan out, and then you can redistribute that capital. And that's a non-taxable event to the government. You don't pay any money. The property is servicing the debt. Investors are happy. Everybody's happy. Eventually, you've got no money in the deal, and you still own your percentage of equity in the deal. Right. And I mean, there are folks that have, Donald Trump got in trouble with the building in New York or whatever. Oh, yeah. I mean, there are people that have refinanced buildings forever, just ever and ever. Yeah. Then the loan terms, and then do it again. Right. And then you also just like right now, because interest rates the way they are, it's like no one's really doing this stuff. But the moment interest rates, I think, get below 6% again, it's going to go. Like people are. Well, it is. Waiting. You know what though? But so that's when you got to get. Using Warren Buffett's thing, when people get greedy, you got to get like a little scared. Now's the time to make money. You just got to get creative as hell. Right. When everybody thinks it's time to do something, then it's really not. Right. I don't know. Yeah. Again, seeing that thing that nobody sees. When you see Bitcoin is at an all-time high, that's not the time to buy it. Right. When everyone's telling you to buy it, don't. Yeah. When, the big boys tell you not to buy it, and then its price dips, and then they buy like billions of dollars worth of it, which would have been illegal if it were stocks, but it's Bitcoin. So it's not. Yeah. Anyways, fun stuff. Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it for the Fat and Weird updates. We're really excited about everything that we're headed towards. Cold Stone brought on some more locations for us too. Yes. And they're also kind of getting some of our damaged cookies to like add as mix-ins. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. So if we can, because we've done very well with the low waste stuff, but just ramping up, just so you guys know, ramping up the volume. We'll make so many more cookies now. So what was a few cookies is now a lot if we have damaged or, too much wet gets added or whatever to the mix. So having a partner like Cold Stone or anyone else, if you guys see this and you're a national food chain, I don't know if you'd be watching this, but if you were, hit us up. We're looking for creative ways that we can spread our brand, help each other,
Right.
just grow.
Yeah, so essentially we can sell like what would be our scraps so that you could do mix-ins for ice cream or whatever. So so if you work for Ben & Jerry's, hit me up.
Yeah, DM.
Yeah, slide in my DMs. But thank you guys for joining us on the In the Oven podcast. You're worth it. Do hard shit.